So hello guys and welcome back to my videos. As the last video there was out of some bad fortune there was like a problem with the microphone. I was probably putting my hand on top of a microphone place, so a lot of my talk was not heard, which was pretty sad. But this time I was luckily able to, get it a little bit better. I'm using headphones now, and the headphones have a microphone, so I am actually feeling like this should work a little bit better, and I'm hearable again. Because I feel like last time I had actually pretty good thought flow, and I would like it to be easily hearable, because I myself was, enjoying making this thing. So yeah, and I love that so many people actually like to watch my stuff and to hear my talks and comment and just sort of support me. And I really feel it. I really feel it in the air too. But right now, I'm always trying to remember or remind to myself like the stuff that I need to remember. And a lot of it is about how to be honest and how to be in the moment. So if I'm like thinking, for example, right now how I've been spending this morning or the last couple of hours, it's been a little bit hectic, like in a really nice and good way. There's like this carousel in front of me that's like playing, it was playing like the Beatles songs. And as I was walking out of the library, I had to put, 3 of my books back into the library because I'm going to leave Plymouth today and go to Frome, which is another city. And then from Frome I will go to Brighton, which is, this will happen tomorrow. So there will be quite a lot of traveling ahead, which is also why I didn't really have time to do a video yesterday. There were like so many things arising, and I was feeling a little bit sad because of it. But I also felt that I needed to take care of some other things. Well, anyway, the thing in front of me is a carousel. And as I was walking out of the library, I was walking and they were playing like really nice songs. It's like, it's like change is good. I was sitting a few days in the library and I'm already feeling like I got so much knowledge inside me that I don't want to continue my life in a way. Because I feel like my talking right now can go into so many different directions that I can basically choose three different topics that I could talk of. One would be like the one that I actually started, which I think I'm gonna continue. However, playing the Beatles songs, and I was really feeling, nice and high in the spirit. And then there were like these two men sitting like like next next to some meeting place somewhere, and they just said hello. So I went to talk to them, and because today it's a sunny day and not so rainy, so I feel like my mood is a lot better than yesterday. It was really gloomy yesterday. And well, anyway, they were playing the Beatles songs, which all of a sudden seemed like rejuvenate all of the stuff that I was carrying. So I was also singing along with this thing and talking to the two guys, the two Indian men that was sitting there. And it was nice. It's just these small things, You just connect with another human being in whatever way it wants to happen, right? Like any moment. And in this way, you can stabilize yourself. You can lose all of your worries and just see where you stand. So then the guys went away, and then I went into started to walk again, and there was like this lady who was doing like street work, wearing like a bright yellow vest and just working, and she was also singing, so we were singing together. And then it was like a bubble that we were inside, like a nice singing bubble. I was really nice, just thinking about all you need is love. And I mean, we can say that it is all that you need, but then we start to analyze what is inside the love, and so often we can make this thing conditioned, and this is a sad thing. This is sad when people make it conditioned, or like, cannot realize what are their like strange habits that they are into. But yeah, then they continued, and just sort of in a nice way. But the other thing that I really wanted to actually also put out there was that because I've been doing like astrological content, and I would really like it to continue the astrological stuff that I'm doing, but I feel like I'm a little bit, when you take like a railroad as if your like line of life, if you know what I mean. If you look at the railroad, then I feel like I'm a little bit like out of a rail, to say it in that way. As there was like the new moon, which was yesterday evening, and it happened in a way that I was not necessarily intending. It was not feeling so good, and the reason for it was just a very stupid fact that for some reason I was allowing myself to be more filled than I would have liked to. Meaning that I actually wanted to go it like properly empty. But because I had to meet with this lady who I'm making this woolen dress for, who is actually a really nice lady, and I really like and love her. But I felt like it was, just strangely like out of balance. And I don't want to say anything bad about her. This is the main thing. Because I never want to say anything bad about anybody. I just like to criticize like the way things are and the moment itself. Whenever I'm, finding the so-called problem or something arising, then I don't want to ever put it into like a human being as being a fault of anything. Just certain conditions rising in a way that we weren't intending them to arise. So I'm not saying anything bad about a human being. I'm just saying that it sort of happened that we went into a restaurant and we had like a plate of nachos, like we had eating, and I wasn't feeling hungry. So what made me contemplate was that why do I eat when I'm not feeling hungry? And I really don't really do it, a lot. But when I'm doing it, I'm seeing the influence of it and the fact that I really should not eat. And it's not a bad thing. It's just I don't need that much of a stuff inside my body. And my digestion and my system is not, wanting it. But at the same time, there's like people just, trying to offer me this. And, later I will probably regret that I'm saying it. Because later I will, feel grateful again when somebody feeds me. Anyway, if you take like just a simple concept, like the emptiness and fullness, and you take it in a way that, when you are empty, can you be like double empty? Can you be like not full at all? And then, they continued yesterday. Then we also had ice cream. And then finally, I was also offered like a warm house to sleep in and a very nice, you know, evening meal, which was really, really accommodating, and I really appreciated that these people were able to offer it to me. Just slept so much. I wanted to wake up early, but I slept. And I have to honestly say I don't like it at all. I don't like it a single bit, because I wanted everything to go in a way of like, being like fully spiritually in tune with stuff. And I kind of was, but I feel like I was also, worrying a little bit that I was not making any content. So out of this, what was arising was like all of my past content in YouTube started to rise up, and I started to, I started to think about it, like how many things I have done which I feel like are so stupid and so strange. And I then I went into like my computer. I mean, after I had been thinking about it like so many hours, and I was like just thinking about the same thing. Like I should make more, while at the same time thinking that I should take like past things and maybe like delete them or some of them or whatever. But at the same time, I don't want to delete it because it's my life and I'm living it. And whenever I feel like I'm in a state of creation, and I'm kind of committed to this thing, because I really, really like recording myself and recording my life just for the sake of it, just liking to do it, And I'm sorry, I feel like it's a bit of like me-based blog, but since I'm planning to do so many of them, then I guess it's okay when one is about me. I don't like the concept of me at all. I like to be more in like connection and contact. But anyway, sometimes things arise, and they do. And it's like when you take the same concept, because I see it, again in a way that, what is light, what is dark, and what is the stuff that is how it's playing, Very simple. If you take like a yin and yang sign, and there's like the white and the dark, and it's just whirling, like the stratosphere, like the clouds and stuff. And sometimes there's like clear sky as well. It's not supposed to be stormy all the time. It's not supposed to be like dark and with like light. It also can be like clear like the sky. And well, anyway, these things were arising, and what I was thinking, or like what I'm seeing right now, because very often when we are talking even to ourselves, we are able to grasp the concept so much better way, so much more easily, that we are actually understanding ourselves and the world like 100 or 1,000 times better. But when we are all the time thinking in the head, then we don't understand it. And so this is also why I'm liking to do this YouTube thing. But anyway, I was watching my past content yesterday evening after we had like a time together with the people I was with. And then I started to watch my past content, and like how stupid I was there. Like I was really critical with myself. I took like a couple of videos down because I felt I was just like incredibly, silly or stupid or whatever. Although around these videos sometimes I was like heavily suffering, and then I like took the camera and started to think that I'm like able to help somebody, or like I don't know, just wanted to do something. It's like a sense of duty that arises if you think too much, or if you have like a high anxiety around something. then there's like a sense of beauty, and you really want to show that something is, that you're worthwhile, or that you, just trying to gather your self-worth, I guess. Also another thing that makes people, put themselves into social media and so on. But I feel like now that I'm doing it, I'm trying to justify myself again. And yeah. And what I'm trying to say is that right now I'm like, out in the world in a different way. I'm like in immediate contact, in like with the spirit, and also spirit works a lot through the human beings and with the human beings and with anything that we interact with. So it's like the messier the stuff is, then also we have to, find our clarity in some ways and make it like less messy. Um, and the thing that I feel is that, like, right now I can make a lot better content because I'm out in the world, but because I was just spending yesterday like the empty moon time that was like in Virgo, which I was talking so much and just worshipping so long time, then after this I feel like the messiness that I got because I just went into like place of like care, then stuff gets fluffy and messy and like so, soft and so on, that it can sort of put you like out of balance. Then, the next thing that is happening in this moon world is like the balance thing. It's like the weighing stuff, the one that is weighing one and another and one and another and one and another. And I don't like it at all because it pisses me off right now. And I know where it's coming from. It's coming from the very thing that I already explained, what was rising. But I also saw that the only way to cure it is to actually just take the camera and make a next confession or like a video. I mean, in some places I call it a confession because I was really going through my content and watching what I was doing and seeing that, a lot of it felt like confessional stuff. I feel like people are actually doing, confessions one after another when they're going into social media and trying to, make themselves heard and known, or whatever they're doing. It's like a place where you can just talk and talk and talk and talk, and then somebody will watch you or listen to you, and then you can also say like these things like, if you don't like me, then get the hell out of this place, don't leave a comment and so on, like just don't be rude to me. And it's like a unknown psychologist that you're talking to, and then that if you're like real wise one, then people really like what you're saying. They like the stuff that who you are, and they just worship you and they understand you, they connect with you, and it's like social media. It's like a worldwide thing, like people just contacting each other, and it's a good thing. It's a really good thing. It's nice to be inside it because I feel like it's actually bringing a lot of genuinity and self-acceptance, especially when you do it in a form of like actual you, not like posing here and there. But I mean, if this is actual you, then this is also fine. If you call it like this, whatever you call it. But I feel like when you're putting yourself out there, then it's like you're more likely to connect with the right type of people, especially when you kind of feel like you need it. But if you just need like human connections, then you can make any contact and anywhere. But anyway, I feel like what people need is like consistency, and consistency is like sort of like a grounding thing, just like a base where to like build stuff upon, and then like see what is coming out of it and what is happening. And when you keep the consistency, like last time I was talking about spiritual stuff, like routine and the patterns around it. I really like to talk about it. And then I'm like going back to the same idea that when I'm talking about it, then the continuation would probably likely be that the stuff itself takes care of itself. When it gets out of balance, then um, I'm really trying to avoid the astrological term here, like the term that it's actually going to go into the waking system of a balance very soon. So probably, I don't know, I'm gonna make loads of content and just see what is the thing that I'm coming up with when I'm talking. So I feel like I get most of my intelligence when I'm discussing things in like a way that I can talk for a long time. But with humans, you always have to think about one and another and how it goes, when you're chatting with your friend or somebody else. But content creation is different thing. You're talking about something, and usually it's like a subject that actually keeps on going, like a certain type of work that you're doing or a subject, or I don't know. I mean, I've been just watching a lot of these guys who are just human talking about this and that because I just enjoy it. I haven't really watched like humor content or anything. I don't know. The YouTube is so big place. I also watched a lot of travel videos when I was younger. But later I started watching anything because I felt like it was a little bit ruining my own stuff that I wanted to do. Anyway, that doesn't matter. I was just doing other things. And I feel like there's like no rule or guideline how the stuff has to actually work. So yeah, as I was also going a lot into, spirituality in a wider sense, I just changed like basically most of my past videos into like put them under a name of like talk of spirituality or whatever, because I felt like when I was listening to them they weren't saying anything clear, anything certain, and I kind of felt like they are so unworthy. But I also felt like because I was in such a soft and caring place that I really felt like I didn't want to take all of them down. The past ones that I was doing like last year in Thailand, I didn't want to put all of them down. And maybe I'm even grateful that I didn't, because I don't know, there's just strange stuff, really strange stuff, and some of it I took down, and some of it can really arise in like places when you're really in strange spiritual travels, like I don't know, traveling some space somewhere, something doing, and and then when you take the camera and talk about it, it kind of not to make any sense at all. I mean, when I am watching it or listening to it, it makes complete sense to me, and actually also a lot of other people who are saying that it makes sense to them and really like this stuff that I'm doing. But also I'm been getting comments from people saying that doesn't make a single sense. They don't know like what is like the point of it, or like what is my consistency, or what is it that I'm actually talking about at all. And that's discouraging when this happens. There's feeling like should I like change something or should I talk about something else, and finally even to the points of like should I just dismiss my own beingness and like become somebody else. But that's also complete stupidity, because human being is changing anyway, but to change according to some rules, this doesn't sound wise, especially when the person is not criticizing in a nice way, but just sort of like um, yeah, sort of like spitting down to you. But I mean, yeah, anytime when I come up, like during this video, I feel like 2 times it has happened. I've been coming up with like idea that I'm, feeling like I'm not, I like some ugly idea or some like bad thought is arising, or I'm getting too negative. And both of the times it has happened is like two of my friends or people I know or met have been just going past and just waving at me and saying like hi or hello to me, and just like immediately making me feel better, which is really nice, because I'm still in Plymouth. in like this street here, and yeah, I have to say goodbye to this place. I really, what I wanted to get another tattoo as well. There's so many things I would like to do, but I'm also trying to, you know, keep myself open and to understand that there's like tattooists in other places as well. It's just the guy who I met who made me like this one, the white one. This was a really nice guy, and I really liked him. And I would have loved to get more tattoos specifically from him. But anyway, this is how we cling to people. This is so easy to happen, and so easy to avoid when you're traveling. Another great thing what is about traveling, because I feel like, I've been traveling for 4 years, like on and off, sometimes settling down and sometimes not. Um, and there's probably like a topic that people want to know about. It's like also like, yeah, I don't know, I'm just so out of spirit, out of tune right now. But I know that I'm gonna upload this thing too, because this is the way I do it. Otherwise, I will just be a little bit, disappointed or grumpy and walk away and just, meet more people. But I actually want to save something. I want to save something inside this grand media place. I feel like it's a good thing. So probably been saying a lot of what is good and what is bad and what is worthy and what not. But I'm just letting myself talk freely, and I hope that the microphone is working good and that the sound of it is also like not too bad. When it's too bad, I know it's not very easy to listen to this thing. But also, if you feel like, you have like if you know like a good microphone somewhere, and you like really want to suggest me like a good microphone, then I'd probably be able to, find myself a proper microphone. I just don't know about these technological things, and it's a little bit draining when I have to look them up from like internet or YouTube or anywhere. Yeah. I got a little bit of like money, which is actually really good for the big dress that I'm doing. This purple dress for the lady who I met yesterday, which is really nice. We tried it on to her, and it suits really nicely. Just have to do like a little bit of length and also make like sleeves to the thing, and that's good. So this is making me feel better. This means I can actually go to Frome, I can go to Brighton, I can meet my friends there. There's one of my friends is going to have a birthday there. That's very nice. Another good thing. So it's like goods and bads of the world. Just goods and bads. And neutralizing in between of it. And neutralizing, I feel like, is a lot about just grounding. Just grounding and allowing the stuff to be. So there's many things I feel good about. I got new earphones. They were only £4. Got them from Poundland. So like 1, 2, 3, £4. Beautiful stuff, right? And they have got this microphone thing. Because my last earphones that I had, they were also half broken. I mean, they made like really cool sound effects, so I'm actually still keeping them. Because they're just, I have to figure out, I was walking around, I had to figure out all the time how to make the sound, sound nice. And it made like all sorts of different effects, which I was really enjoying and waving with, so I'm still keeping them. And I'm not calling them like, half broken, they're just like this type of like a different way of hearing music. You get you're listening to like Nirvana or something, and you get it in a totally different way, and probably even in a more authentic way than this modern day is. Yeah, so maybe I should just add something positive at the end of this video, like just something like like a promise of a sort, or like something else. I'm not coming up with it really. I feel like I'm still in the mess of the yesterday, and it's a mess of a mind, mess of a head. It's like just like a mess. Today when I went into this pound line, I felt like the universe, the world was again trying to sort of like apologize for it, what it had done. And then there was like a lot of people in the queue, and then the world was letting me know that, you sit there so nicely in the order there, just, one after another. So like, even though there was like chaotic and messy stuff, there's still the order as well. And just sort of, it's actually really nice when it reminds me like on a larger scale as well. Like when I'm talking about myself, I'm also talking about, you there, that you can also notice these things. I'm not talking about in a sense of like, oh, that's like me and my experience. I'm just talking so that you can get awareness of these things and also notice them in your own life. And I kind of presume that you also get it in this way, because that's like what I intend to, what I mean to, that, you there, whoever it is who is, watching or listening my stuff, that they also, I feel like my audience could be like a lot of them could be like solitary traveler type of people who actually get me, who actually, understand what I'm talking about and what is my business in the world. Well, anyway, then I was seeing again, nice reminders from the world. Just the way it reminds us stuff that we forget when we are thinking about other things. Plus, another thing that I'm noticing, which is pretty cool and pretty peculiar, is that whatever I'm creating, I'm living it out. I'm also like living out my own creation. And this is a big topic, something that I would actually really like to, take as another topic of a video. Like how we are doing things, living them, like whatever we're creating, this is our actions, are the stuff that are making our, karma, or like our next things happen, what are happening from ourselves or to ourselves. It's also like in the Buddhist text you can say that you are born of your karma, you are heir to your karma, and karma is also meaning karma. It's two different languages, it's Pali language and Sanskrit language. And why it's supported by your, basically by your doings. So I feel like this is another thing that,
Have a nice day. Yeah?
have a nice day, thank you.
Today?
Yeah, today, yeah.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you. Okay, take care.
And it's happening immediately. It's just happening immediately. Whatever we are doing, we are like doing, and we are also living the results of it. And we can do it with human beings, but if we do it with technology, then this stuff gets really strange, really peculiar. So I'm already opening the subject up, but I feel like I probably and hopefully will be, talking soon about it, like in a bigger length. I also find it fascinating, and I'm, been finding it even more fascinating the more I got into it. It's like the more when I'm, seeing stuff to be true, the more it is that I actually get to understand and see even more how true it is. And that's what really gets me into, like, also talking about it, and gets me into like the universe and the way it works. Because I know the stuff that I'm talking about, I also have to live through this stuff. So whatever it is, whenever somebody somewhere is sort of like thinking that I'm talking some bull crap or whatever, then I'm letting you all know that I'm also living the things that I'm talking about. And I'm like totally a result of my own texts. I never read anything, I only talk from whatever arises and whatever passes away. And that's what I really like. So I feel like also a lot of the times I have to, look away from the camera because I have to look at the world and tune with it again. Because the camera, when I'm watching it all the time, then I'm creating tension around it. It's like a focus point. I'm creating tension around it. And it's, also like the camera, when I'm not creating tension around it, then the camera doesn't want me to speak to it. And I have nothing to say in this sense. So connecting to the world again and starting again with a new sentence. This is like the way to do it. When you don't have like a grand audience and like a microphone, people sitting and listening to what you can talk to them. Yeah, and I like to do this stuff in communal areas because a lot of my past content, not a lot of it, just some of it, have been made in places where I was sitting alone in like an apartment or someplace, and that means that whenever I start to get overly anxious about what I'm gonna say or what I'm like doing or saying, that happened a couple of times. Then I didn't make myself like a pinpoint to go back to. I mean, actually many times I also did, and I'm starting to see that my past content isn't that bad at all, after all, because I kind of offered it a little bit of kind of tension. Like criticizing is also like kind of tension. At the same time, I'm seeing that I'm already living the stuff that I was saying like 5 and 10 minutes ago. So basically, just the same thing. Just the same thing, the messiness and the way the messiness tries to cleanse itself up. And that's what we call a confession. That's what we call a confession. Another thing that I wanted to define, I got into the definition of it. So maybe I will call this thing here a confession, and maybe I will call this like a messiness out of chaos, or like put another moony subject to this thing. Don't really know what to put into the headings also. I'm setting the word heir, and all of the clouds are trying to go around my head while I'm doing this. But it's atmospheric stuff, actually it is coming from the heart. If we didn't have the heart, we would not be able to talk at all. And because I have a heart, that's the only reason why I'm able to talk. So I'm basically very grateful for having a heart. It's like world wouldn't exist without it. We have the whole world in our heart, and that's something that makes us, do anything that we want to do. And when we have a whole world in our heart, it's also meaning that the whole world is guiding us and is telling us, letting us know what's the thing that we need to be doing, which is really nice, really, really nice from the world that is able to do it, and that is able to include all human beings in a way. I've also been thinking about people like who have like Alzheimer's and like dementia and other sort of so-called diseases, and I've been thinking that I also got many ideas about diseases like and the stuff that they don't exist at all. They're just people being a little bit misfortunate with their talents that they actually have, and if they were in a place to cultivate them and themselves in a proper way that is supportive to them, in a way that they could actually see themselves as like highly talented people instead of people who are put under some strange one word diagnosis and said that now you carry this thing there and that's really bad, and now we put you into like even more conditioned world. This is like the worst thing that you can do to a human being. You want to bring them into the like unconditioned world. And the worst thing that you can say is like say that they have some sort of a disease. This is something that one should never ever do. especially when the stuff is mental. Just gotta spend time with the human, get to know them and understand what's going on, and you can help basically anybody. Saying from a place of being meditating the subjects quite a bit, and also having stuff like memory losses, like huge memory losses, and times when I was having like high insomnia or like high depression, or they're just words, they're not diseases. It's just things that happen when we have done something in the world that is not out of benefit, but out of something, some sort of a misfortune or some bad intent or whatever it is that we say that we had to do, what we didn't have to do. So when we are doing, like, I don't know, just thinking about these things, so much of it is curable if you just change your faith, change your belief, and the stuff that you actually are, believing into. If you don't believe in a disease, I say that, you're usually probably like a lot better off. And maybe it's a threatening thing to say once there's somebody who's really saying that they suffer from a disease, then this is a threatening thing. Because I also say that I was suffering a lot from depression and other stuff, but I don't call it as a disease in like a bad way. I mean, I'm not making any sense now. Just this stuff wanted to come out, and I feel it's coming out now, and it's okay. Because anyway, yeah, I'm seeing it also in a way that when we mention that somebody is suffering, well, anyway, I usually just go into prayer and pray that they will get better and their well-being will get better and that they will realize peace. So it's less just like, words also have a place in the world system. Um, so yeah, another thing that wanted to come out, because the stuff that we're experiencing, our world is created out of our own belief systems, what we have, faced inside, and what is it that we are, feeding with our doingness. And what's the thing where we get our own food is also the world itself. It's like the world system just keeps on feeding us, and if we don't get out of it with some sort of like spiritual practices or ways, however we call them, shamanic traditional ways, or even, smoking some strange plants or whatever it is, you have to get out of it. Because humans in delusion of not having anything grander or greater or bigger, this is the worst disease I can ever think of. And that's what makes me sad. I'm really doing this thing. Even though I know that to a lot of people it doesn't make sense. And I also had this Buddhist monk who was also saying that, commenting my life and my doings a little bit, and also saying that he also thinks probably a few people think that I might be a little bit of crazy, and it's not a surprise to me. It's not a surprise to me at all. I've been called strange and weird since very young time, and I always took it as a compliment. I took it as a big compliment, and not a bad thing. Because I was highly intelligent, I was really good at mathematics, and I mean, I still am. It's just the mathematics of the world now, different thing. I went in the university as well, I was studying ecology, and finished the thing pretty well. So it's like when you're strange or weird, it doesn't mean that you're stupid. It just means that you're, you know, actually able to see like a little bit out of a box here and there. And do something that wakes people up in a different way that doesn't always propagate like what sort of shampoo would you like, or what type of ham sandwich are you enjoying, or I don't know if you like cheese or whatever there is in the world. So I'm actually pretty grateful, and I feel like it's pretty nice comment. The person who was commenting it also has a channel in YouTube, and he has been commenting a lot of my things, and I feel like he's doing pretty good content himself. I've been enjoying it, I've been also watching it, and I feel like I would also like to link him down in the comments, no, in the description area, and to advise that if you also would like some very good Tibetan Buddhist teachings, then he's like a really good person to go to. He's talking very interesting ways, and he has this swirling thing which is swirling, very very nice thing. So just to make like another favor to like a person who was actually showing interest in me, and I thank him very very much for this. So yeah, I actually thank everybody, and I feel like there is another person that I want to specifically thank, and this is somebody who I met in the Buddhist monastery where I was living, in the same monastery with him, and he's somebody who's been donating me like a lot of money, like out of a surprise, like quite a several times to be honest. And I would just like to say thank you for this human being. When he's watching it, then he knows very very well who he is and recognizes himself. And I just want to say that this has gone into like really good places, but what matters more is like again just the feelingness of it. It's not the money itself, but I mean also the money, but this is where I get shivers. It's like a highly intelligent person, and when somebody is sending you good wishes, and I have to say from my pure heart that I feel all of the wishes that you send to me, then I feel like my own intelligence level in a way was also rising. And when I take like yeah take interest in like a guy who was just driving past in a longboard, then again I'm going back to the place where I'm saying that intelligence is a different subject, and we don't always measure it in a way of a ladder climbing up and down, but we measure it in a wide way. We measure it in a way that the world itself is intelligent. And I used to be a longboard driver. That was a pretty cool time. So I hope that at least my sentences are clear in this video, and you can leave all of the stupidities like behind, all of the strange sentences where you don't understand this and that and the third and fourth and fifth thing, and you can leave them behind if you like. You can just not hear them, but you can also do another thing. You can just tell me, like quote my sentence, and just say to me what is it that you don't understand about it. If you feel like you really want to like touch me in some place, then I allow you to do this, and then maybe I'm able to take it and make another video out of it and explain the very concept which you are struggling so much with, that your own self-worry is increasing, which takes your level of understanding down, and the samadhi that I'm really wishing you to be inside, or like the haziness which puts us into like a dream, where we are actually able to like grasp a concept here and there, that this thing, maybe helps you a little bit. When I open a word, a sentence, the one that you really are struggling with understanding on like a thorough level, and then maybe you're able to understand it. This is why I'm saying, if you have misunderstanding, please contact me and don't go to other people, saying like bad things about me. Because I feel it. It comes to me in the spirit. And whatever you're doing, if you're doing these things, what? I just know it all. I know what you're thinking about me. Because I'm out in the world and I know every single thing that you're doing to me or for me. And then you're doing nice and kind things. I know it also. And I know that whatever you're doing, it just comes straight to me in any place, in any circumstance. So even whatever you're thinking or talking about me, just repeating myself again and again and again. Just just know it now. Know it now. And maybe you know it, and maybe you send your intentional stuff to me so that I do not have to show your face and or your chat or whatever. Because there's people who have told ugly stuff about me, and everybody has those people who have told ugly stuff about them, and who cannot face these guys anymore, or like thought ugly stuff. So sometimes we're saying things, and sometimes we're not saying things, and sometimes we're just thinking things, and when we think them too much, and then we like to express them in so kind way that it sounds beautiful and nice. We don't want to scream out into the world that somebody is a bastard. But do we always want to go and talk to the bastard? That I also don't know. So just these little words out as well. The world is a beautiful place, and when we see the perception of it can be beautiful, it really can be beautiful, whatever it is. Whatever it is that you're watching, it all can be beautiful. If you find it even a tiny bit of meaningful, then you can see that even this thing is beautiful. It's all beautiful. And I hope that you understand it. So I'm really grateful. It's a beautiful world, and it's a grateful world. And I also think it's like your own meaning as well. So just remember these things maybe. Beautiful, grateful and meaningful. So thank you from the heart, and hope that you there will have like a real good day, like a really, really good one. So thank you and bye bye.